What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? Good to see everybody here once again. It is I, your host, Adam Perez, back once again with another Zenkaiger review as we're about to go ahead and get into episode number 34. A Halloween episode. It's kind of crazy. I don't want to say it's kind of crazy, but we literally just had a Halloween episode maybe like 2 weeks ago for Power Rangers Dino Fury, and now Zenkaiger's getting the opportunity to go ahead and showcase their Halloween special as well. No clip show this time, but we did get some fantastic costumes and a massive reveal towards the end of the episode, and some Stacey talk for you guys today that we're definitely going to be dabbling in. So as always, guys, remember, these are just simply my A-plus opinions. At the end of the day, though, I want to know yours. What did you guys think about Zenkaiger episode number 34? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys, and we'll definitely continue this discussion until next week's episode. But since it is Halloween, I do want to go ahead and at least celebrate some of the costumes that we wind up seeing in this episode. We had Jurin dressed up as a vampire, Vroom dressed up as Frankenstein, which I thought was incredibly fitting. I truly did enjoy him. Majin dressing up as a witch. Talk about even more incredibly appropriate for Majin. I thought that was pretty cool. A gown certainly had me laughing in regards to the idea that he was being a tiger, even though he's personally a lion. Kaido, a little bit lackluster in his costume. Like, they couldn't come up with anything better instead of just a pumpkin head sort of guy. I don't know if he was supposed to be portraying somebody that I'm not aware of, but it just looked like a pumpkin head to me. And then of course you got Yachan and Si-chan both as Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. A great combination, great duo, especially considering the fact that these two have been stuck inside the candy shop, it feels like, for a majority of this season. They are pretty much like partners in crime, so I really thought that that was pretty appropriate for the both of them. But this episode was all about Halloween World, a little goofy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this episode was just decent for me. It didn't do anything in regards to like blow my mind or anything like that. Great reveals, don't get me wrong, and I really enjoyed the focus on Stacey a little bit, but overall it was just a decent episode because a lot of it was really just hunting down for a pumpkin head when it comes to Halloween World, who in this episode is putting people under sort of his spell, where trick-or-treating is rather dangerous. I mean, people are hounding for candy, and one of the first shops that we get to see raided is in fact the candy shop in the beginning of this episode. It just really leaves them completely empty, disheveled. I mean, people are really going crazy for this trick-or-treat when it comes to their candy. But we come to find out quickly that his weakness is shown when his pumpkin head is unfortunately removed, and it winds up sort of cutting his power in half. And for the remainder of the episode, we literally see everybody just trying to hunt down pumpkins. But if there was any person hunting down pumpkins that had my intrigue from the get-go, it was Zox and Flint. I love the fact too that the Zenkaigers think that he pillaged and plundered everybody's pumpkins when they do come back, and we see Zox and Flint with like a whole wagon of pumpkins, and she's like, hey, to be fair, we actually paid for all these damn pumpkins, all right? Like, they're literally going around town trying to just take every pumpkin they could possibly find. And I love the fact that they're literally going off of a hand-drawn sketch of what a pumpkin should look like. Farthest thing from it, to certainly say the least. So yeah, Zox clearly didn't have too much to certainly go on in this episode, but it definitely made at least for some rather humorous and hilarious moments throughout this episode. Didn't really care for Halloween World too much. I get the idea that you got to do a Halloween episode. It definitely left for some good laughs, but definitely not a villain that I think we should certainly have to worry about or consider. The big reveal, though, that we wind up getting is something that we've theorized and we've talked about here for weeks now in regards to who exactly is under the Hakaiser helmet. And we actually do have the reveal in this episode as we get the opportunity to see Hakaiser trying to attempt to escape at the end of this particular episode as his energy begins to drain, and he tries to use this as an opportunity to go ahead and escape. But fortunately for us, our Zenkaigers are certainly onto it and stop him from going. I think Vroom even winds up utilizing, and quick honorable mention to the gears used in this episode, he uses the Buchinger gear to go ahead and sort of cement Hakaiser in place, and all that excess energy of deflecting their weapons, trying to chop himself out, completely drains his energy, and he has no place to go. And this is where we get the opportunity to see his helmet dematerialize, and lo and behold, it is in fact Kaido's father. It's something that we've been been theorizing for a while. I feel like a lot of fans have clearly been theorizing it. We hit the nail right on the head, guys, in regards to it being Kaido's father. Again, one of the other theories that I had previously last week, I thought it would be really cool to see sort of Kaido's image underneath the helmet, but it'd be like a younger version of Kaido's dad if Ichirud wanted to kind of clone him, sort of thing. But this works just as great because it just definitely adds a ton of mystery behind it. We see Ichirud quickly come in and teleport Hakaiser out. But the secret is out, guys. The secret is out. If anything, I would assume maybe next week's episode, our Zenkaigers will certainly inform Kaido as to certainly what's going on. But I loved everybody's reactions, right? And they understand the impact and exactly what this truly means. They've been trying to find Kaido's mom, unfortunately. They know that they've been trying to just get his parents back in general to no avail. So to finally see that it is, in fact, Kaido's dad under the helmet here, again, I loved all the reactions. I love just how you could feel the weight on the Kikainoid's sort of shoulders in regards to knowing what this sort of information could do to Kaido, how he could certainly react. I wasn't quite sure if they were actually going to go ahead and reveal it to him in this episode, like, hey, Kaido, we kind of need to talk to you about something. But with it being Halloween, seeing Kaido clearly in a really good mood, I get the idea of maybe like, let's just hold off on telling him until we're like absolutely sure that this is who we think it is. Because I do love even the uncertainty after seeing him head on. I love even the uncertainty that even Gaon and Majin certainly might have at the end. Like, are we sure that this is really the guy? And then when you look at the picture, you're like, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. So I love the ability to not rush to judgment and just tell Kaido. So I would be interested to see when it comes to next week's episode how they go about telling Kaido, because I definitely do think that's going to be rather important. But the plot thickens, guys. I'm glad that we got the reveal. I was really hoping that it was going to be Kaido that got the opportunity to see his father for himself. But I'm assuming maybe that comes in next week's episode. I'll keep my fingers crossed. But I do think we have ourselves another big episode towards the end. But I gotta say, in regards to the Hakaiser character, I really have enjoyed him. For me, it's kind of weird to see Hakaiser with so much enthusiasm, very similar to that of Kaido, but it's all for evil intentions in a sense, right? Like, I love the conversation that him and Stacey wind up having when they're in the lab, and Stacey asks him, like, why is he fighting? The fact that Hakaiser doesn't even really know why he's fighting, outside of the fact that, well, hey, I'm just kind of programmed to, right? Like, Ichirud just sort of created me in order to go ahead and fight alongside of him. Like, the fact that Hakaiser looks at the Toji Tendo sort of as his friends, even looks at Stacey sort of as his partner, right? The idea of like doing things together in order to achieve what they're wanting to. It's that same Kaido energy, right, that he has when it comes to the Zenkaigers. So to see Hakaiser with that same sort of positive energy, but for the villains, it's so trippy. It's so trippy to see, honestly. But I really dig it. I really dig it, because you can easily see where Kaido certainly gets his personality from, and it's shining even through a character like Hakaiser. And while Hakaiser may not necessarily know why he's doing what he's doing, when it comes to Stacey, he very much has an understanding as to why he's doing what he's doing. And I think they clarified that for us here again in this episode. The idea that he's really trying to outdo Barashitara, right? I mean, that's definitely been his number one goal since he first stepped onto the scene. We've seen that animosity towards his father, if you will, his teaming up with Ichirud, right? Like, Stacey even mentions in here, like, look, I'm just using Ichirud. One of the things that we've said before is it doesn't feel like Stacey looks at the Toji Tendo sort of as his family, more as a means to an end, right? He has a goal in mind. He's using Ichirud and the Toji Tendo to get where he certainly needs to be. But I love the fact that Kaido winds up sort of challenging him in the sense of, you know, if that's what you're trying to do, why sort of do it alone? And that concept of teamwork and doing things together was a really big focus in this episode when it comes to Stacey. The ability to see that Hakaiser certainly wants to work together, even congratulating him at the end for like, hey, finding the great sort of pumpkin, right? For me, it feels like, I don't know if Stacey's connecting with Hakaiser because he has that positive outlook like Kaido does. And maybe seeing the Hakaiser personality has given Stacey a sense of, I don't want to say togetherness, but that he does have somebody that he can work alongside with in order to kind of achieve his goal. But it also seems like at the same time, he's struggling with Stacey wanting to not be overdone or outshadowed by Hakaiser, right? Like the fact that he even goes out to try and find the pumpkin head, knowing that Hakaiser's trying to do it also. He seems really reluctant for Hakaiser to sort of pick up a win. And I think it's one of those things where maybe Kaido even realizes the idea of like, hey, why do this alone? Maybe that Ijiru really want Hakaiser to succeed. And the more Hakaiser certainly does succeed, the less useful and need to have around or need to even keep around is Stacey, who has continued to sort of drop the ball throughout the season. So the fact that we see Stacey competing with Hakaiser to try and even get the pumpkin head back to Halloween World, being disappointed that Halloween World still goes with Hakaiser, maybe feeling a little bit less than, it does make me wonder where Stacey will certainly pledge his allegiance. One of the things that we've said very early on in one of our theory videos was by the end of this season, Stacey's going to be on the side of the Zenkaigers for sure. I definitely do see the redemption arc certainly coming, or at least I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that particular point in time. But are you going to team up with Hakaiser to take everybody down, or would you rather stick with the Zenkaigers, right? You got a little bit of a family there. Kaido's more than willing to accept you. Yachan, you clearly sort of care about, right? If you want to take down Barashitara and prove your worth and that you're more than that, maybe don't necessarily have to do it from working on the inside. Maybe you can still work with the Zenkaigers in here. But I do think that concept and that idea of teamwork and working together is now sort of that next phase or mentality that Stacey certainly finds himself in. So I hope he figures it out. I truly do. I really do love seeing that mental push and pull that Stacey continues to go through in regards to where his allegiances certainly lie. Because again, there are moments of competitiveness that pop up in Stacey's mind. There's also the idea of clearly rather working together. The idea and notion of working together with somebody kind of gives this dude like chills up his spine. Seems like it's the last thing that he certainly wants to do. But there are elements that he seems, you know, at least open to, which I think Kaido has definitely gotten into his head. So, you know, I expect to continue to see Stacey struggle as this season definitely rages on. A quick honorable mention, though, does probably have to go out to the Zord battle at the very end of this. I kind of laughed at the idea of the Halloween theme, how the Halloween just kind of takes over the city and all the designs that winds up happening sort of on the buildings, especially when the Zenkaiju O winds up, or the Zenkaiju winds up putting on the ghost sheet, and he winds up pretending that he's an actual sheet, like literally just grabbing it off the building because we've got the evil spirits attacking him and things like that. So why not blend in and pretend that you're a ghost sort of thing? So once he puts on the sheet, then all the ghosts and spirits wind up leaving him alone. I know it's the stupidest thing ever, the most ridiculous thing you've probably ever seen, but it actually did kind of make me laugh and chuckle a little bit in regards to how they had fun with the Halloween theme for the most part. So again, an okay episode, you know, decent episode in regards to it. Definitely made me laugh a little bit. The Halloween world seemed a little bit lackluster, if you will, but it at least did push forward a great story in at least regards to the struggle for Stacey, along with the reveal of Hakaiser to officially be Kaido's dad at the end of the day. So great stuff here, man. Again, I'm really looking forward to see how Kaido handles the news, and I'm really wanting to see where Stacey's mindset continues to go. And it would be interesting for me too, especially as we go into episode number 35. Not sure how many episodes we have this season, maybe 10 more, maybe 15 more or so, maybe like 45, 50 episodes. Not quite sure what the end number is, but I will be interested to see exactly when Stacey's mom, or I should say Kaido's mom, winds up actually playing a role and coming back into it. So the plot thickens, guys. But listen, at the end of the day, I want to know your guys' thoughts. How did episode 34 hit you? Did you appreciate the reveals? Maybe some of the great action? Maybe the Halloween theme? What certainly worked for you? What didn't? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And we'll definitely be here next week for you for another Zenkaiger review. But until then, do me a big favor as always. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Full throttle, non-stop. I'll talk to you later.